Alright guys, SomeNorthernGuy here, and in my last video, I gave you guys my initial speculation for The Last Jedi. Now if you want to see that video, then click the Last Jedi logo on screen now, or the link in the description. But as a quick summary, I think Luke is going to die, Rey will turn to the dark side, and Kylo Ren will come back to the light to be the Last Jedi. Now you might be thinking, well, this sounds bloody crazy. And you're right, it is. But if you actually stop and think about it, Luke dying is more or less a given. Han Solo has already been killed off, so killing Luke really wouldn't be that surprising. The whole point of this new Star Wars trilogy, or this new batch of Star Wars films, is to pass the torch from the old characters to the new characters, but also metaphorically pass it from the older Star Wars fans to a new generation of fans. So they kill off the old cast. And just look at the Star Wars logo in this image, it's red. I mean, I touched upon this last video, and everyone is talking about this, but the red logo basically suggests either someone's dying, someone's turning to the dark side, or this is going to be the film where the First Order wins. Like how the Empire won in The Empire Strikes Back, and our heroes are left on their asses. Han Solo's been frozen in carbonite and taken to Jabba's palace, Leia doesn't know she'll ever see him again, Luke gets his ass handed to him by Darth Vader, we find out Vader is Luke's father and that just messes with his head, and we're left wondering how the hell they're going to get out of this situation. Now as for Rey turning to the dark side, Luke's death could pretty much be the thing that pushes her over the edge. And I think it's fair to say she isn't exactly the epitome of a Jedi Knight, is she? She's had a very rough life, you know, she's grown up full of sadness and anger and hate and uncertainty and fear and all that good stuff, and then, you know, BB-8 comes into her life, and then Kylo Ren comes along and he captures her and he torments her and he murders her father figure and he, you know, puts her best mate in a coma, and in their duel, she embraces her anger and her hate and she kicks the crap out of him. Very similar to what Luke does to Vader in Return of the Jedi. So I think a couple more emotionally scarring blows like that and she'll tip over the edge. But enough about Luke and Rey. This video is about Kylo Ren. I mentioned it in the last video, but I felt it needed a bit more of an explanation, so it gets a video all to itself. So what do we know about Kylo Ren? Well, he's the son of Han Solo and Leia Organa. He's whiny, he's bratty, he throws temper tantrums. And to be fair to the guy, he's pretty damn powerful with the Force. I mean, he's Darth Vader's grandson. I'd expect nothing less. And speaking of Vader, he literally idolizes him. He prays and talks to the charred remains of Vader's mask, and he bases his entire aesthetic on Vader. He dresses in a full black suit, and he wears a mask to protect and hide his face that changes his voice when he doesn't even need it. In that scene where he's got Rey captured and he takes off his mask for the first time, myself, and I'm willing to bet everybody else, expected his face to be at least somewhat messed up. But instead, he's actually a pretty good looking bloke. This is a very powerful scene because it reminds us he's just a kid. He's a kid playing dress up as Darth Vader, who just so happens to be his grandfather. But the similarities between the two don't end there, and this is why I think Kylo will come back to the light side and be the Last Jedi. Now, you might hate this part, but we're going to have to go a little bit further back than A New Hope for this one. Just a little bit further into that dark, dangerous, and hated realm of the Star Wars prequels. I know, I'd rather not as well, but we can get through this together. Let's have a look at Anakin Skywalker. Not the brave, noble Jedi Knight as he was portrayed by Ben Kenobi. Oh no, I'm on about the whiny, bratty, arrogant little shit. In Attack of the Clones, Anakin is basically an arsehole. I don't care how much you like the guy, I don't care how much you like Vader, he started off as a prick. He complains all the time about the Jedi Council and Obi-Wan, he's whiny, he's bratty, he has temper tantrums, and to all his credit, he's immensely powerful with the Force. So he goes back to Tatooine with Padme to save his mother from slavery, only to find out that she's actually no longer a slave, and she married a moisture farmer and started a family with him. But then we find out she's been captured by the Tusken Raiders, so Anakin goes out to try and save her. He arrives just a little bit too late and finds her beaten and God knows what else they did. But the point is she dies, just as he gets there. Like, she literally dies in his arms. This is where he gets the obsession of saving people from death, which ultimately makes him Darth Vader in Episode 3. He slaughters those Tusken Raiders in cold blood, and he starts his dark descent. Now in the end, it's his love and obsession of saving Padme that makes him turn to the dark side. But what started him off on this journey was the death of his mother. Now it's not her fault she was captured and killed, but indirectly it is her fault because that's what set him off down this path. Now what I'm getting at here is that Anakin's whole story arc is that he feels the pull of the dark side more and more and more until he finally cracks and gives in and he joins the Emperor and becomes Darth Vader. Kylo Ren's character, on the other hand, is constantly feeling the pull of the light. This is why he kills Han Solo, because he believes it will cement his place on the dark side. Now whether you hate him or love him, George Lucas once justified the prequels by saying they rhyme with the other installments of the original trilogy. So Phantom Menace rhymes with A New Hope, etc, etc. And to be fair, they do. Luke blows up the Death Star, whereas Anakin blows up the droid command ship. Vader cuts off Luke's hand, Dooku cuts off Anakin's arm. The death of Darth Vader and the birth of Darth Vader. Luke versus Vader on the Death Star compared to Anakin versus Count Dooku on Grievous's ship, etc, etc. This is pretty much a convention of the Star Wars films, so it really wouldn't surprise me if the new trilogy follows this as well. And Force Awakens already kinda does. I mean, I say kinda, it is basically A New Hope. It is the same story. Fantastic film, not that original. Luke and Rey are both orphans who live on a desert planet. They both find a droid who's holding very important information. They both leave or escape that planet in the Millennium Falcon and join up with the Rebellion and the Resistance. Then there's that giant example of Starkiller Base is literally the Death Star 3. They even fly down a trench to blow it up. And of course, Obi-Wan dies in A New Hope. Han Solo dies in The Force Awakens, and they're like the mentor characters to the main protagonist. So, with that said, it really wouldn't surprise me if The Last Jedi rhymes with The Empire Strikes Back and Attack of the Clones. But instead of Anakin setting off on his dark path to becoming Darth Vader, Kylo Ren sets off on the path that brings him back to the light side and once again being Ben Solo. And what will set him off on this path? Well, just like Anakin, it'll be his mum. Now, I'm not saying that Princess Leia is necessarily going to die, because if anything, that will make him even more hateful. But I think she'll sort of like convince him back over. She'll tug on his heartstrings, or she'll do something to bring him back over. Because let's be honest, lads, we'd do anything for our mums. So through Leia's influence, Kylo will start to renounce Snoke, and he'll start to come back to the light side of the Force. Now, whether this happens before or after Luke's death doesn't really matter, but I think it would make a little bit more sense if it happens before. This could be the reason Luke dies. Kylo comes back, so Snoke gets angry and sends the Knights of Ren to go and take him out. They have a huge battle with Kylo, Luke and Rey, and Luke ends up dying as a result. This pushes Rey over the edge. She gets super angry like she did in her duel with Kylo, and she just cuts down the Knights of Ren, one after another. After that, she'll look at Kylo Ren and think all of this is his fault, and she'll go after him once more, and they'll have another duel, with Rey ultimately dominating him. And just like in their first duel, before she delivers the killing blow, someone, probably Leia, will stop her. But it's too late. Rey's turned to the dark side, and she leaves. Not necessarily to join the First Order, but because she probably doesn't want to hurt like Leia or Finn or Poe. So with Rey gone, Luke dead, and Kylo back on the light side, it leaves him as the Last Jedi. Not only does it parallel Anakin's descent into darkness, but ultimately Darth Vader did kill the Emperor, redeemed himself and came back to the light. Kylo's already turned to the dark side, so this would mimic Vader's redemption. And obviously it'd happen at the very, very end of the film. Like, the whole film is, will he come back, will he not? And at the end, he does come back, just in time to be declared the Last Jedi. Which leaves Episode 9 open for Kylo Ren, or now Ben Solo, to fix this whole mess that he basically caused. So what do you guys think? Do you like this theory? Do you agree with me? Do you completely disagree with me? I want to know. So if you liked this video, then hit the thumbs up button. If you disliked it, then hit the down thumb button. And let me know in the comments who you think The Last Jedi is gonna be. If you want to see some more stuff from me as well, you can always hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching. I've been SomeNorthernGuy. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.